Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, Isis, Imitation of Life. The Goddess Next Door helps a young black girl overcome racism during the era of Jim Crow in this Golden Age Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Imitation of Life in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. It looks like God is going to have to mete out justice in the murder of Emmitt Till, because men on earth here in the United States have decided not to go out here and indict the murderer of Emmitt Till, and this Mississippi grand jury has declined to press charges to indict Carolyn Donham, the last surviving suspect in the murder of Emmitt Till, for murder. Now, back in the 1950s, there was a warrant issued for the arrest of Carolyn Donham, along with her husband, Roy Bryant, and her brother-in-law. So there was a warrant issued for her arrest. Unfortunately, the sheriff at the time did not go out here and enforce that warrant, which was a court order to arrest Carolyn Donham. And the reason why he did this was based in gynocentrism, because your white males oftentimes want to give white females a pass, and because this white male wanted to give this white female a pass under the system of white supremacy, your Carolyn Donham was not arrested or charged with the murder of Emmitt Till, and it was only done because they were white and they said so. Under the law, she was a part of that murder, and she was meant to be held accountable. But in the system of white supremacy, white women are oftentimes given passes for their egregious and criminal behavior. And based on certain accounts of what led up to the lynching of Emmitt Till, your Carolyn Donham is an equal suspect, and even in some cases could be considered to be the orchestrator of the murder. Now, in one report, your Carolyn Donham is said to be the person who told your Roy Bryant, her husband, and her brother-in-law to go out here and take the life of Emmitt Till. And in another account, she is actually there with her husband and her brother-in-law at the site of the lynching. And it is said that she was the one who pointed out who Emmitt Till was, allegedly. And in that report, she is definitely there at the lynching, before they go pick up Emmitt Till. So she is in two reports said to have been a major part of the murder. However, our American criminal justice system refuses to punish this woman because it seems like these white supremacists are some of the biggest simps, and they'll give a female a pass to go out here and participate in all sorts of heinous acts like the lynching of Emmitt Till. Now, the alleged reason that they did not indict your Carolyn Donham is that they say, oh, we did not have enough evidence, but I have to call BS on that, because they had even less evidence to go out here and try to convict Bill Cosby. I find it interesting that they can go out here and have no evidence of a crime as related to Bill Cosby, and they can go out here and take a affidavit that was supposed to be sealed and use it as evidence, and they create their own kangaroo court to railroad Bill Cosby for an assault that did not happen. But when it comes time to punish a white female for a crime that she did have a part in, they say, oh, we don't have enough evidence, we don't have enough witnesses, even though there are written reports and witnesses to go out here and confirm this evidence that your Carolyn Donham had a role in the murder of Emmitt Till, but they can't seem to find enough evidence. And that just shows me that your white supremacists, they make up the rules as they go along, and because they make up the rules as they go along, we never get the tangible of justice for foundational black Americans like Emmitt Till, who sadly won't get any justice from America's court system, which is supposed to be the fairest of all, but it clearly shows how still it's so biased and how white supremacy is a major part of that bias and how gynocentric it is, because you can't hold a white woman accountable even though there's evidence to show that she's doing wrong. And that just shows how big of a simp that we have as related to the men in our criminal justice system, because they would give this white woman a pass for participating in some of the most egregious behavior, if you believe some of the reports. Because according to some of the reports, these men reacted emotionally by her saying she wanted this boy dead, and because these males fell for the crap test, they went out here, did the deed, tortured and murdered Emmitt Till. And after they tortured and murdered Emmitt Till, your Roy Bryant and his brother-in-law, she basically abandoned these men and then married somebody else and went on with her life. And then as she's going on with her life for the last 60 years, she is getting a final pass from the criminal justice system, and that final pass is the one that is the most egregious, because even though this woman is 88 years old, she needs to be put in prison for the crime that she, I believe, committed, because this woman went out here and orchestrated the murder, as I see it, of Emmitt Till, and she has not been punished at all for this crime by men, because these white men are basically a group of simps, and these simps don't have the backbone or the stones to punish a white woman for her egregious behavior. And it just shows how weak your white man is. Even though he brags about being supreme, he is so weak because he can't put his woman in check, because had he put your Carolyn Donham in check, Emmitt Till would be alive today. But the whole thing is, they don't know how to put their women in check, but then they want to go out here and torture a 14-year-old boy, all because they heard from her that he had whistled at her, not ever critically thinking to say, this woman is running a game on me, this woman is playing me, and sadly she's going to play these white supremacists until she gets into the grave. And that is the saddest part. She is going to play her way into the grave, not being punished for the crime that she committed, which was murdering Emmitt Till. And it seems like now the only person who can go out here, and it really isn't a person, the only being that can punish your Carolyn Donham for the evil deed she's done is the Most High living God. And that's the sad part, that the only way that there was any justice as related to the entire Emmitt Till case was that it was God who would have to mete out justice, and he did so with Carolyn Donham's husband and her brother-in-law, who lived in poverty after they just basically were ostracized by society. And your Carolyn Donham is looking like she's not doing too well in her last days, but she may not do well in her days in the next world, because she went out here and participated in great evil, and God is looking down on her and possibly will punish her in the next life. And as she roasts in the lake of fire and rests in hell, that's the only way she will get punished. And the whole thing is, what will also come is, to this country will become a great punishment, because God doesn't like it when you suffer children. And Emmitt Till was a child who suffered due to the white supremacy and racism, and he suffered because America didn't want to give him justice. And that's the most disturbing thing. As related to America's hypocrisy, Americans talk about being this, country that's about freedom and justice, but Emmitt Till never got any justice. Emmitt Till never got to see the people who did him wrong be punished, and all of them were arrogant enough to go into Look magazine and brag and confess to the murder of Emmitt Till. But you can't find any evidence, even though there's a Look magazine article that clearly states where these men confessed to the murder of Emmitt Till, and that could be introduced as evidence as related to a trial of Carolyn Bryant, or Donham, or whatever she calls herself. I just call her the devil. And this demon looks like she's trying to get away. She's been given a pass by the system of white supremacy, but this white system of white supremacy won't get a pass from God. No, the system of white supremacy will be punished in the same way that this woman will be punished as she takes her last breath and finds herself in the lake of fire, burning and roasting, but with these demons that are just like her. So when I look at this whole case of your Emmitt Till, it is a travesty of justice as I see it. And as a travesty of justice, it just disgusts me to see that this boy will never see justice by the hands of man. And the only justice he will have is when people like Carolyn Bryant or Donham or whatever she calls herself, and the U.S. criminal justice system falls into the hands of the living God, and they don't understand that it is a really bad thing to fall into the hands of the living God, because in the hands of the living God, that's where you face his tender mercies, and you will meet the worst of punishment, because if you are out here doing great evil, this is where you fall into the hands of the living God, and he metes out a punishment on you that is worse than death. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my positive black fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, the John Haynes series, and the books of the Spinsterella trilogy, you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers from SJS Direct. ISIS, House of Isis. The Goddess Next Door takes on a hustling Hotep high priestess in Harlem in this Afrocentric ISIS series adventure. Pick up ISIS, House of Isis at online booksellers today.